Hello, my amazing grade 3 students. So today we are going to be experimenting with using string or yarn to create different patterns. Now I'm going to put on next a few different videos of 4 different techniques you can use to manipulate your string into different patterns. The first one is called a God's Eye. And this is the God's Eye pattern. It uses string to create this diamond on top of 2 sticks. If you're at home and you do not have yarn or popsicle sticks, a solution that you may have at home is to have 2 chopsticks. And I have taped them together in the center, or you can tie a really tight knot in the middle, or if you have glue, that's probably the best thing to do, is to glue them together into our cross. The second thing is you may not have yarn at home, but something that you may have is some of this plastic packaging string, and this could be used as well for our yarn. If you do have yarn or string, you can always tie pieces of it together to make it longer. You may even try to use some shoelaces, maybe undo those shoes and tie your shoelaces into a long string to use it at home for that. So the first thing you can make is a God's Eye. The second thing that you can make is called hand knitting, and we use our fingers to knit the string into a very, very long chain pattern. Many boys and girls had a chance to do this before we went on break, and they had a lot of fun with that. And the third thing that I'm going to show you is something that you can also make at home that is like the finger knitting, but it uses a toilet paper roll and again some sticks glued onto the toilet paper roll to create a knitted long chain as well. Now I have tied together different colors of string to make my knitting different colors as it goes on, but the video you can watch for this one will demonstrate the techniques to make this as well. It's very similar to our finger knitting, so if you don't have the materials at home to make this, finger knitting is one of the best things that you can practice while you're at home today. Okay, boys and girls, go ahead and choose one of the videos I have posted next to experiment with one of these 3 techniques today. Today we are going to be starting our unit with yarn. Boys and girls, we are going to be using yarn a lot in the next month, and so today we are going to get ourselves familiar with using this material by making a God's Eye. This is a way of wrapping yarn that creates this beautiful end product on our popsicle sticks. So, boys and girls, the first thing that we are going to be doing when we make our God's Eye is you will have a popsicle stick cross. And we need to take a piece of yarn and tie the yarn onto our popsicle stick. So I am going to lay my yarn down on the table and put my X over the top. Then, boys and girls, I'm going to go ahead and put both ends on top of the bottom legs as if it was a scarf wrapping around the waist of our X. Then I'm going to make an X with the strings. I have put the short end on top of the long end. Now the short end is so quick that it's going to run a circle around the long end and into the center of the circle. So that short end wrapped around the long end. Now I'm going to take my fingers and grab the short end and grab the long end, and I'm going to pull tight. Now I want my strings to be extra secure, so I'm going to do that one more time to make what's called a double knot. So take the short end, lay it over top of the long end. Short over long. The short end's so quick that it runs a circle right around and underneath and into the inside of our circle here. It's snuck around. Then I take and pinch the short end and I pinch the long end and I pull them both together until they're nice and tight around my X. Now you may feel tempted to take some scissors and snip this off, but today I would like you to just leave it there. Now that we have our string attached to our X with a double knot, we are going to go ahead and lay it down on our table. We're going to be following a simple pattern of 1, 2, turn. So what I like to do is I like to go to 1, behind to 2, and turn it all the way until my string is at the bottom. Go up to 1, behind to 2, and turn it until it's at the bottom. Up to 1, behind to 2, and turn. Up to 1, behind to 2, and turn. My string should always be down here at the bottom before I go up to 1. You can't go up until you're down. Behind to 2, and turn. Up to 1, behind to 2, and turn. Boys and girls, as you get more and more comfortable with this, you're going to be able to do it up in the air, which is a little bit more easy to handle. So boys and girls, it is up, around, to the back, turn. Up, behind, turn. Up, behind, turn. Up, behind, turn. Now boys and girls, one important thing about our strings is when we look at the back, we want each string to have its own seat on the popsicle stick. We don't want the strings to be sitting on top of each other. We want them to sit next to each other on the popsicle stick. That way we can make our pattern nice and wide. When I look at my example here, I will see that my strings are not very puffy. They're actually quite thin. That's because I gave each one of my strings its own place on the popsicle stick as it went out. So boys and girls, please make sure that when you look at the back side, your strings are not so puffy. We want our design to be nice and flat. So let's go over our pattern one more time. I'm at the 1, I go behind to 2, turn to the bottom. Up to 1, behind to 2, down to the bottom. Up to 1, behind to 2, down to the bottom. Up to 1, over to 2, and behind. Okay, boys and girls, our first step today is of course to tie a double knot onto your popsicle stick. Let's review one more time how we are going to tie our double knot. Take your string and lay it down on the table with your X on top. Take the short end and the long end and lay the short end over top of the long end. Tuck the little end into the middle of the circle and pull both sides. Repeat that one more time to make your double knot. Okay, boys and girls, let's head to our tables and you can get your popsicle sticks and your first line of string and get started with our knot tying. Hello, my amazing artists. We are going to be doing some hand knitting. And the way that you are going to get started is if you have a ball of yarn or string or even the plastic rope that you might use at home, you are going to first lay the end of your yarn onto your palm next to your thumb. And then just let that dangle off. So it's on your palm, the end. Then take the string on your ball of yarn, wrap it behind your index finger. Then in front of your middle finger, behind your ring finger, and in front of your pinky. This is 1. We are going to do it 4 times to start. Behind, in front, that's 2. 3, 4. If you close your fingers, you will notice that there are 2 strings on each finger. 2, 2, 2, 2. And remember, this is down here, doesn't even matter, you can just let that go. So I did it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how I get started. Now the next step is you are going to take the bottom string and pull it up and off of your finger behind. Take the bottom string, bend your finger up and off your finger. Bottom, up and off, bottom, up and off. Pull down those strings so that they're at the base of your fingers, or you can comb them down like this. Then, boys and girls, remember, don't mind this string over here. This is where all of the length of your hand knitting is going to come from, is your ball of yarn. Take this string that's back here attached to your ball of yarn, and now you are going to go on top of your middle finger. On top. See how it's attached back here? On top of your middle finger, behind your ring finger. 1, 2. So when you close your fingers, you'll see you have 2, 2, 2, 2. So when you start your weaving, your knitting, you did 4, but once you've gotten it started, you only need to do 2. Now take your bottom up over the top, bottom, top, top, bottom, top, comb down, and again, on top of your middle finger, behind, on top, and again. That's twice. We went down and back twice. Up and over, up and over. And comb. On top of your middle finger, behind your ring finger, and again, until your string is over here on the side of your pointer finger. 2, 2, 2. Yep, that's right. So boys and girls, the more you do this, the longer your rope of knitting is going to grow down the back of your fingers here. The first time you do it, these will be a little bit messy down here, and that's okay, because as you go, it will start to get more and more consistent like a rope of yarn. So boys and girls, as long as your string is, you can keep going and going and going and going and going on your fingers with this knitting method. Once you get done, boys and girls, you will have to finish your string. Now, your string will have this end, which was the long bit that started in our palm, but then on this side, it will be around your fingers. So boys and girls, let's pretend I've got a long string of yarn here at the end of my hands and I'm ready to be finished. The next thing that I want to do is I take my loop off my index finger, put it onto my middle finger, take this loop from the bottom, pull it over. Now I have 1, 1, 1, take this loop, put it onto this finger, loop this one, down and over, and lastly this one. Down and over. Now I have one final loop here, and what I can do is I can take this and I can tie it together with another loop here until it's just secure. It doesn't have to be perfect of a knot. Okay, boys and girls, so you are welcome to try to create as long of a rope using your finger knitting method as you can. All right, boys and girls, have fun creating. Hello, my amazing artists. Now, this method of knitting is a lot more challenging than the finger knitting. So if you aren't feeling up for the challenge, maybe click back to the video where we are doing finger knitting, and that can give you a good introduction to how this actually works. But if you are ready now for another challenge, this one is fantastic to do. Now, in order to do this at home, you're going to need a toilet paper roll, and you can glue down either maybe some wooden chopsticks, or you can go outside and collect some sticks to put down onto your tube. And what I did was I took a marker and I labeled it 1, 2, 3, 4, and after the 4 I put a star in between 4 and 1. This will help you know where to put your thumb to hold down the string. That will help you so you don't get confused. Now the other thing that you're going to need is some kind of string. It doesn't have to be yarn like mine. It can be, it could even be shoelaces tied together. It's all about just practicing what to do with string and how to make patterns with our string. That's the main goal. So, boys and girls, the first thing that you are going to do with your string is take the end of it and slip it down inside the tube until it comes out the other end. So it should go from the top to the bottom. Okay, boys and girls. Now, this end is the one that you're going to be working with, and it's attached to our ball of yarn. And what you're going to do is you are going to take it and put it next to the one in between the 1 and 2 here, and wrap it around the 1, and then bring it over to the right side of 2. Wrap it around the back, and then bring it around to 3. Always start right to left around the back, right to left around 4. And this is what you will see on the inside. It's a doop, 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 3 lines. Now when we start our pattern, we need to do this twice. So instead of pausing here at my star, I'm going to keep going. And I'm going to go around 1 again, around 2, around 3, and around 4. Now I'm going to take my string and pause it here on my star. Notice how I have 1 string in between 1 and 4, but all the other bits have 2 strings. Now, just like our finger knitting, we have a bottom string and a top string. These are kind of like our fingers. And we are going to pull the bottom string and inch it over the top of our popsicle stick and push that part down. So I'm still holding this string, but I'm going to work my way around my popsicle sticks, pulling the string that's below, so this one down here. I'm going to tug it a little bit and pull it up and over and push this one down. It's quite important that you don't lose that top string off your popsicle stick. You're going to have to start over if that happens. Okay, so now each popsicle stick has 1 string on it. And now it's time for me to re-loop my sticks. So I'm going to take my string, we start here, go around the back of 1, and we are going to re-loop all of our strings going from the right side behind the popsicle stick and then in front of it here, and then pause your string on the star. Take the bottom string, inch it over the top, and massage that down. Bottom string up and over the popsicle stick. You got to be extra careful to make sure that this loop doesn't come off. And I did 3, now I need to do 4. So take the bottom one and pull it up and over the top. Great, every single stick has 1, and I'm ready to loop it again and continue going. This can go on and on and on for as long as you have string. And eventually it will start coming out the bottom of the tube and you will have a long snake of skin. Now, I changed colors by knotting some different yarn on the top here so that I could change colors as I went. And if you have that luxury of changing colors at home, you are welcome to do that. But any type of string, any color of string, doesn't matter. Our main goal today is to make sure that we are practicing how to use our yarn to create patterns. All right, boys and girls, feel free to watch this video as many times as you need to get it, because sometimes things that are tough take some time and effort, but we do not give up easily. Say it with me. We do not give up easily. All right, boys and girls, have fun.